This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 446. Empathy is the key to sales.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. It's Pat Helmers, and sometimes it's dangerous to have a hunter mentality where you think of prospects as game and you, the hunter. This kind of competitiveness may get in the way of empathy. Once upon a time, a sales guy may have gotten away with bullying a prospect into buying. But those days are gone. The internet destroyed that. Customers have got choices. There's more competition than ever. And what buyers truly desire is to have someone take away their problems. When prospects get a sense that you care, they will trust that you may have the solution. Maybe not all of life's troubles, but maybe a few of them. Empathy is the key to sales. That's our topic for today. But before we start, make sure and subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you're listening to, and also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and myself on LinkedIn. You can find links in the show notes. And so, with no further ado, let's get to it. Now today's chapter, empathy. If you want to earn trust, you must listen. If you want to earn faith, you must empathize with distress. If you want to earn loyalty, you must desire to alleviate pain. Repeated sales are the fruit of repeated compassion. This key opens doors. And now today's story. As Chris qualified a prospect, Pat listened in on the call. After 10 minutes, it was clear that Lee checked off all the boxes. But when Chris started to explain the product's benefits, Lee seemed bored. Pat heard this and texted Chris. Ask about the ramifications of the pain. Chris immediately pivoted the conversation and asked Lee how the problems affected their business. Well, Lee gave a lengthy explanation on issues with profit and slip schedules. Pat then texted, think empathy and compassion. And Chris ran with that and commented, wow, Lee, that's got to be painful. How long has this been going on? Lee sat straight and went into a lengthy explanation. It was soon clear Lee would eventually become a new client. Good job, said Pat. You really turned that one around. Thanks, Pat, responded Chris. It was a team effort. You may have heard me say this before, but this joke never gets old. Sincerity is everything. Once you can fake that, the world is yours. What makes this funny is it's a lie. People can smell out fake compassion and empathy just like that. If you really care about people, prospects can tell. Once they know you care, they will stop shopping. They know nothing's perfect, but once you win their loyalty, they know you'll make any issue right. Care for your customers, and they'll care for you. To download a copy of this week's Tao of Sales Babble chapter, you can find it in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for our brief weekly newsletter with links to the podcast conveniently in your inbox. I know I've asked this before, but if you could share this episode with one friend, just one person who's interested in growing their selling skills, that would really help promote the podcast. I would deeply appreciate it. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? Did you know that we produce podcasts at Habanero Media? Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. With that said, that's all I've got for this week. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.